What if the people walking past you in worn-out sneakers, driving a standard car with zero flash, or sitting quietly in the corner of a coffee shop are actually sitting on millions? We live in a society that has been conditioned to judge wealth by its volume. We look for the designer logos, the roaring exhaust pipes, and the curated social media feeds. But true wealth is an introvert. It doesn't scream for your attention because it doesn't need your validation. If you want to spot the people who have quietly won the financial game, you have to look past the performance and watch for the subtle, psychological markers of invisible abundance. Here are 10 signs that someone is secretly wealthy. The first sign is complete indifference to status signaling. When someone has genuinely arrived financially, the desperate need to prove it evaporates. You will notice they wear clothes that have no visible branding, drive cars that are functional rather than flashy, and use phones that might be a couple of generations old. They aren't wearing a discount, they are simply wearing anonymity. They understand that buying things to impress people they don't like is the ultimate financial trap, and they refuse to pay their ego tax. The second sign is extreme mastery over their time. Look at how someone reacts when an unexpected delay happens or when an invitation requires them to waste hours of their day. While the average person panics about missing out or feels pressure to show up to every social obligation, the secretly wealthy person treats time as their most non-negotiable asset. They can afford to say no. They don't rush through conversations, they don't look panicked about their schedule, and they have an aura of unbothered calm because their income is completely decoupled from their physical presence in an office. The third sign is what economists call invisible consumption. When they spend money, it is almost entirely on things that improve their quality of life behind closed doors rather than things put on public display. They might invest heavily in high-end air filtration, an incredible mattress, organic nutrition, or private health care, things that nobody on the street will ever notice. They optimize for comfort, longevity, and peace of mind, not for the approval of strangers passing by on the sidewalk. The fourth sign is absolute emotional detachment from price tags on necessities. Have you ever noticed someone buying groceries or paying for a minor service without even glancing at the total? They aren't doing it to show off, they simply live in a reality where the baseline cost of living creates zero friction. They don't sweat the small numbers because their brain bandwidth is entirely reserved for high-level problem solving and asset allocation. Money, to them, is a utility tool like electricity. It's just there when they flick the switch. The fifth sign is the absence of debt conversation. People who are drowning in consumer debt or living paycheck to paycheck often talk about money constantly, either complaining about how expensive everything is or bragging about what they just financed. The secretly wealthy person almost never talks about money, loans, or interest rates. To them, debt is a foreign concept because they don't participate in the consumer credit game. If they can't pay for it cleanly, it doesn't enter their life. The sixth sign is radical patience in high-stakes situations. When a market drops, a business hits a rough patch, or a negotiation gets tense, most people panic because their margins are razor thin. The secretly wealthy person becomes eerily calm. They possess deep liquidity and generational options, which means they can afford to wait out any storm. They view chaos through the lens of opportunity rather than threat because their foundation is completely unshakable. The seventh sign is physical and environmental simplicity. Walk into their workspace or look at their daily routine, and you will find a brutal elimination of clutter. They don't surround themselves with status symbols or unnecessary gadgets. They know that physical clutter creates mental noise, and mental noise destroys focus. Their minimalist environment is a direct reflection of a disciplined, highly optimized mind that values clarity over accumulation. The eighth sign is the quiet accumulation of asymmetric leverage. When they talk about projects or investments, they don't discuss working harder, they discuss systems, ownership, and positioning. They are always thinking about how to own the platform rather than be the worker. They quietly buy real estate, secure equity in private businesses, or fund cash-flowing assets while everyone else is arguing about the latest cultural trends on social media. The ninth sign is selective invisibility in public spaces. They don't need to be the loudest voice in the room, they don't fight to win arguments, and they don't correct people when they are wrong. Let others assume what they want. They are entirely comfortable letting people underestimate them because being underestimated is a massive strategic advantage. It keeps the parasites, the scammers, and the noisy opinions away from their door. Furthermore, you will notice their utter lack of participation in outreach culture. While the middle class spends hours arguing online about politics, celebrity gossip, or corporate drama, the secretly wealthy person is entirely absent from the digital noise. They recognize that attention is their most valuable currency, and trading it for online arguments is a massive negative return on investment. They consume information to make decisions, not to feed an emotional addiction. Their mental real estate is strictly reserved for building, protecting, and expanding their ecosystem. Additionally, observe their approach to risk management. Average people take massive risks for tiny returns, gambling their savings on speculative fads or high-interest loans because they are desperate for a shortcut. The secretly wealthy person does the exact opposite. They take calculated, asymmetric risks where the downside is strictly capped and the upside is generational. They do not gamble, they position themselves where luck meets probability. They are entirely comfortable being bought for years if it means staying protected from catastrophic loss. The 10th, and ultimate sign, is absolute sovereignty over their future. When you look at them, you realize they are not trapped by an employer, a landlord, or an expectation. They answer to no one. They have quietly built a fortress of capital that buys them complete autonomy over every single hour of their day. The world will always try to distract you with the loud, flashy illusion of wealth. Ignore it. Stop looking for the labels and start looking for the discipline, the calm, and the invisible power of those who don't need to prove a thing to anyone. True wealth whispers, while poverty yells. When you master the art of being invisible, you finally take absolute control of your destiny. Stay quiet, keep building, and let your results speak for themselves.